Unfortunately, Congress just passed a bill that will allow the continuation of our intelligence and law enforcement agencies to infringe on the civil liberties of the American people. Now, the Patriot Act and the FISA Act, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, needed to undergo very real reforms if these constitutional abuses are to be prevented in the future. Unfortunately, Congress failed to do this, which is why I voted against the bill. The American people should never be forced to choose between security and liberty. Now, the passage of the Patriot Act in the wake of the terrorist attacks on 9/11 and the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, it has been allowing for the abuses of our civil liberties and overreach by our own intelligence and law enforcement agencies through doing things like warrantless sweeping collection of our data, violating our Fourth Amendment constitutional rights. Now, unfortunately, a rare bipartisan opportunity to truly reform the Patriot Act and FISA has been squandered. While there were marginal improvements in the bill that passed, they don't even come close to the real reforms necessary to ensure both our national security and our constitutional rights are protected. Now, here are just a few of the issues. None of the reforms protect the American people from illegal warrantless surveillance. None of the reforms prevent the secret FISA court from abusing the constitutional rights of Americans. None of the reforms provide real protection against surveillance orders targeted at activities protected under the First Amendment, like communications with journalists, protests, or religious activity. None of the reforms limit the use of business records collection, and they don't include the necessary requirement that surveillance directed towards a U.S. person be subject to a probable cause warrant standard. We cannot give up the very real constitutional freedoms that define America. Instead of releasing the content of the bill just 24 hours before the vote, leaving no room for real debate or amendments to strengthen the legislation, leaders in Congress should have allowed these authorities to either expire or provide a temporary extension, because the American people deserve robust debate and discussion in order to craft new laws that provide us with the necessary national security tools that respect our constitutional rights and freedoms. I'm working on legislation and will be introducing it that will do just that.